Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So season 37 is about to finish. Well, realistically it's finished. Pretty much everybody has finished up their rewards and we're just waiting for the rewards coming in tomorrow. So with that we have Alliance War Season 38 changelog. And this time around there are some very interesting changes that we're going to break down in a second. So pre-season begins October 26th, so that's basically tomorrow. And then season begins on November 9th after a 2-week off season. There is a new tactic for challenger and hard maps, which is attack tactic, subdue. Subdue attackers, basic attacks have 33% chance to apply a 6-second neutralize passive. Additionally, these attackers' special attacks apply 2-second Fate Seal passive, immediately nullifying all buffs and prevents any new buffs from activating. So basically anybody in this subdue category is going to get extremely powerful neutralize and a Fate Seal ability as well. Several of them are Mystic champions who do not necessarily need it in a sense, but obviously access to neutralize is going to make a lot of champions significantly more powerful. So it's going to be interesting to see how this tactic works in the future, because initially, obviously, if you're playing tier 1 wars, you will not have access to it. Now, hard map is getting a new defensive tactic with unsteady ground. Whenever they activate a special attack, you get inflicted basically with an unsteady debuff for 6 seconds, which will make all your attacks glance. Additionally, per debuff on you, you have additional 30% chance to glance. So this is going to be all about getting rid of debuffs. And with that, the offensive tactic is going to be debuff detox. Whenever the attacker blocks or dodges an attack, they gain 1 detox charge up to a maximum of 6. If attacker reaches max detox charges, they will consume all of them and become debuff immune for 5 seconds. Whenever the attacker throws a special attack or a debuff is applied to them, consume all detox charges and remove 1 of each debuff affecting the attacker. And so this is definitely going to be quite a big focus, obviously, in the upcoming season, because there are some champions and nodes where you can basically not escape getting debuffs placed on you. So, interesting list of champions here as well in debuff detox. So, that being said, let's move on to the bans. And the bans are kind of surprising yet again. Now, the blacklist for next season is going to be Kingpin and Dr. Doom. Now, I did see Kingpin banned because Kingpin, I think, was banned pretty much in every single war this season that we played in. But I didn't see many Dr. Doom bans, but he's going to be in a blacklist regardless. Now, whitelist is going to be Spider-Man 2099 and Ghost. So next season, Ghost is going to run rampant. But on top of that, obviously, you need to note that, for instance, Human Torch and Hercules are no longer on whitelist. So those are going to be popular bans back again. There are several node changes and new nodes coming into Alliance War map as well. And in this case, it's going to have to do with Part 2, where they are trying to make it kind of like a Mystic Defender path, which obviously will pretty much require science non-buff champions to counter, like Spot, for instance, or Spot's pre-fight, like Titania, maybe new Ant-Man. We'll see how it goes. The attacker gains a 6-second placebo buff every 5 seconds whenever the defender is inflicted with a non-damaging debuff. This timer is reset, so again, you're kind of going to need to bring in science champions for this one. Combat Deja Vu Placebo, again, if you land the same basic attack twice in a row, you gain a placebo buff, which is obviously going to be fueling Mystic Dispersion for Mystic Defenders is going to be the point. And also Personal Space Placebo works just as Personal Space Fury. Now, the interesting thing here is that we're getting a change to the boss node. And boss node will no longer have True Strike, which is kind of cool. But it will have Steady Build-Up Unblockable. Steady Build-Up Unblockable increases defensive ability accuracy by 100%, which automatically means that several neutralize attackers and like Falcon and a bunch of whole champions are going to be kind of unusable for the bosses. And on top of it, obviously, if you get 3 debuffs placed on you, then you go on. Then the defender goes unblockable until you have purified all of those debuffs. I think we can find it in our with nodes as well, in case you guys want to take a screenshot of it. So we're going to go steady build up unblockable. Here we go. The defender has 100% increased defensive ability accuracy. When the attacker has 3 or more debuffs, the defender becomes unblockable until the attacker has 0 debuffs. When the attacker purifies a debuff, they become unblockable for 7 seconds. This node is found in Path 4 in Section 2, as well as it was one of the nodes for Battlegrounds a while back. So this definitely will mean that different champions are going to be more effective on defense. For instance, Thing automatically has less counters because you can't use Falcon, for instance. You can't use Tiger against the Thing. Obviously, there are still slow options and so on. Then we have Null, who's pretty much going to start the fight unblockable, because at the beginning of the fight, he plays like 13 or 14 debuffs on the opponent, depending on the SIG level. And there will definitely be some very, very interesting changes to the boss fights. Obviously, initially, I predict it's definitely going to be harder to deal with the bosses, but eventually we're kind of going to get a hang of it. I do expect some unusual champions as bosses, and it's going to take some time to get used to it. But that's the case with pretty much everything. I cannot immediately say, whether these nodes look doable or awful. It has to be seen over the course of time. Like, a lot of the changes to Path 3 looked much scarier than they inevitably ended up being because of champions like Galan and Hulkling existing, completely nullifying those lanes. And I have a slight suspicion that many of these new nodes might have a similar fate, where these new combo deja vu, placebo fights and so forth, it might be tricky and hard and borderline impossible unless you have Ant-Man or Tigra or Spidey 99 or something like that. Obviously, it's still going to be interesting to see what kind of defender combinations are going to be placed on these nodes to kind of try and get the most effect from them. But I, for one, kind of look forward to the changes. I always like when they are changing nodes in Alliance War every other season or every season, because it makes the game mode feel a little bit more fresh. And let's face it, when you have to play the entire season, same map basically 12 times, the only variation being what defenders are placed, but even then half of the time, or more than half of the time, most top alliances kind of end up placing similar or same champions on those nodes. Any kind of refreshment, typically, unless it's, complete BS, is something that I personally welcome, because now Alliance War has competition. Now, Incursions is much more fun and engaging game mode when they finally give us rewards that are worth it. Now, Battlegrounds obviously exists, that has completely consumed majority of the game time for so many players. So I hope that they keep Alliance War fresh and keep on updating, and never ever again let the Alliance War rewards become as irrelevant as they had become. All that being combined, let me know what you guys think about the upcoming season, new defensive tactics, and new boss nodes. And that is it for me now. I'm going to catch you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like, subscribe, and all the other good stuff. So yeah. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about